Hey everyone, welcome back to a new video. Before we get into the stories, I did have a couple things I wanted to talk about. As of this week, as of today, I do plan to officially continue with the daily videos, so everything should be back to normal now. I also wanted to mention, I don't know how many of you knew this, but there was actually an imposter channel that was re-uploading all of my content. And they were getting thousands of views, like literally just stealing my videos and re-uploading them like every day. So pretty much yesterday, I decided to sit down and send takedown requests for every single video. And when I woke up this morning, the channel was finally deleted. So yeah, we finally got rid of that idiot. And for any of you who reported that channel, thank you so much, because I'm sure that had something to do with it as well. But yeah, I just wanted to say those things before we get into the stories. And remember, if you have your own scary story that you might want to share here, you can send it at southerncannibal.com. All that being said, thank you all for being here. I appreciate all of you and your support. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get into today's stories. This story dates back all the way to my 5th grade year. I met a boy named Kyler. He was in the same class that I was, and we became friends rather quickly. I learned that he was your typical sexist Reddit incel user after quite some time, but I was too young to grasp it. Fast forward to 6th grade, and Kyler became almost obsessed with me. He always sat next to me, always talked about me in conversations with his only other friend, and even once took a picture of me without my knowledge to show his sister. Eventually, around during the mid-school year, I had to leave and switch to homeschooling after not going for a month due to mental health reasons. It didn't seem too bad, and I had lost contact with him until that summer going into the 7th grade. He eventually made social media accounts, and he ended up finding me in what felt like instantly. He would text me really creepy and perverted stuff, as any 12 to 13-year-old boy would. I asked him multiple times to stop, and he would get so mad when I did. He catfished multiple guys that we went to the elementary school with, and he would show me the boys' private parts. I blocked him, but he would always make more accounts. This went on until about my freshman year of high school. Everything went quiet, and I had honestly forgotten all about it. All until one day, I get a new follower on Instagram, and it's another blank account. The account messaged me right away, but it was with a snap photo, and it was of me walking in the hallway, with the caption, "You look so pretty today." I felt sick to my stomach, as this photo was taken just 5 minutes prior when I was going to my 4th period. I threatened with the police, and he blocked me. He eventually just kept doing it though. His messages would get angrier and angrier, and by the time I reported it, he had already left the school and transferred to the next city over. This was during my sophomore year. The harassment wouldn't stop, and my breaking point was when he sent me a picture on another fake account, and it was of my house. There was no caption, no context, nothing. Just a photo that he took from outside my house that I didn't see until 20 minutes later as I'd been taking a nap. I wasn't even scared, but instead just really angry. I sent him a long text saying I had contacted the police, screenshotted his accounts and messages, etc. He then sent me random photos that he had taken of me, dated all the way back to when I was 13. I was too scared to tell my parents, and the whole me telling the police thing was really just a scare tactic. I called him crazy and blocked the account. I'm now a junior in high school, and everything's been quiet for a while, and I haven't heard of anything since September 2021, and I plan for it to stay that way. What makes this whole thing creepier is that I'm not the only one he harassed like this. There was actually a total of 5 to 6 of us, and I believe one girl did go to the police about it, but that's not my story to share. Be careful out there. My name is Jessica. I'm a 32-year-old female that's currently dealing with the aftermath of some really bad choices that I made. I'll admit that I did this to myself, but still, it's gotten to a point that I didn't think it had to end up this way. I mean, to a point that I do fear for my safety. Mentally, I'm slowly becoming more drained with each day that passes. So let's go ahead and start from the beginning. About 2 years ago, when COVID was first starting to slowly getting in its swing, I was part of an online community that was into programming games / visual novel RPGs. You would be surprised just how large it actually is. But anyway, it all started with me getting involved into a huge fight that I really shouldn't have gotten into. I was an editor of scripts, and in this group, a friend of mine who I'll call Magic was a voice actor for a game that he was doing work for. For safety reasons, the game was based on being followed and having a Stalker / Yandere as your love interest. Magic had asked me if I could listen in on the creator of this game when they were talking over something that was important. Of course, I was curious, and I was also excited that this creator was well known and also around Twitter, which I do have an account on the social media. Who doesn't? So I got into the Discord chat where I saw the creator with the name Gigi and 4 other people, including Magic. I would give a hello, and Gigi seemed rather friendly, giving greetings and telling how much she appreciated all those that were there. I was honestly quite happy that I had joined, since for once, I actually felt like I was a small part of something, until another person came in. This is where things got out of hand, I suppose. The person that came into the call was named Cinder, and once they entered the call, everyone got really quiet. I didn't understand why at first, until Cinder spoke up.
Gigi, I'm not going to drop the charges anytime soon, so you can forget trying to bully me into backing out.
Okay, that turned really quick, and the atmosphere, even though online, just seemed so tense. After Cinder spoke that, is when Gigi then started to talk. Her voice was stern, but you could tell that she wanted to go off, but she was holding back on just letting her anger out. As I listened, this was becoming way too much information all at once. So from what I could get and understand, Cinder knew Gigi when they were a teenager, and Gigi here is in her 30s when these two met. But I'll also add that Gigi's also married too when these two met. Gigi already had quite the following back then with her artwork and scripts on Tumblr apparently. Cinder, being a huge fan, got in touch with Gigi only for those two to exchange numbers, meeting up, and creating a very, very close bond, if you get what I mean. This was a shock, since Gigi seemed like quite a normal married woman with a happy life, only to find out that she's done some very shady things back in the day. As you can imagine, her group started to back her up, nearly tearing Cinder apart, telling them if they wished to take things to court, then it wouldn't be a problem. That's when one of the members in the call then asked me, "Do you really believe they can take this to court?" I was a bit thrown off guard, only for another one to ask nearly the same thing, as more of asking for my opinion. I really should have left the call or just tell them I didn't know. I should have just kept my nose out of this. But I felt like I was being peer pressured really badly, so I spoke up. Well, if they believe they have enough evidence to pursue something like that, then they really do have the right. As soon as I spoke that, everyone just went quiet. This was a bad move on me. Like I said, I should have just kept my mouth shut.
Well then, I guess I know what to do then.
That's the last thing Cinder said, as they then hung up. After that call, I then began to realize what kind of mess I'd gotten myself into. And that was just the beginning. After Cinder left the call, the group would start to go into this huge rant of how this person could even think of doing such a thing. But how could they not? I mean, if they really are a victim of something so horrible, then they have the right. And of course, they then put their attention on me, with a whirlwind of one question after another, to where they were pointing at fingers at me now, as if I was the reason now that the project was going to be taken down. These people really acted like they were in high school, when most of them were older than me. For goodness sake, the creator of this game was in her fucking 40s, and she's trying to take me down as if I'm enemy number one. This was the cue for me to leave and get the hell out of this situation, and quick. So I ended the call, so I could at least try to understand fully of why this even happened. I went to bed early that night, thinking things would just pass and they wouldn't do anything. I mean, I really wasn't part of this. Oh, how wrong I was. The next day when I woke up, I noticed all these notifications on my phone from my Discord app. Dread went through my body, praying that it wasn't what I thought it was. I opened the app to see one message after another from Magic Gigi and even some of Gigi's followers asking me, "Why did you help Cinder? Are you part of Cinder's friend group? Are you some kind of mole? Don't be such a narc." This was nuts. All I did was give my opinion. I didn't even know Cinder or even who they are as a person. I deleted most of the messages and soon sent one to Magic, who I thought was my friend, now turned on me. I explained the best I could that I wasn't part of their problem with Cinder, and that I was only giving my opinion of a question that they were asking me. But again, it was my mistake for even answering something I wasn't part of. Because when you get pulled in, whether it be a question or just asking what others think, then you become part of the problem. After I sent the messages, I then blocked them, and I decided to stay off for a while, thinking maybe things would pass. Maybe things will calm down once they figure out their issues. I let about 3 weeks pass, not really checking my Discord or Twitter, trying to keep my mind off gaming for a bit, until I decided to check on things. I would think by now things would have calmed down or just passed on away from me. Not exactly. There was one tweet after another to messages and tags that Gigi was going to court against Cinder. Apparently they did have proof that she did something after all, along the lines of grooming, and it just gets quite dark. My mind went blank, so the allegations were true. As I read from one tweet after another, I noticed I had a DM, and who would it be? None other than Cinder. In the message, they thanked me for giving them courage for pressing charges on Gigi, and that the game and the community she made will soon be at its downfall. In all honesty, I didn't know what to do or even think. I was just a random woman that enjoyed writing scripts and helping them with gaming codes. I mean, I didn't do this on purpose or even understand fully what the hell was going on. I didn't message back since I didn't want to be a part of this. I know it seems heartless, but you have to understand that I'm a stranger to these people. But they made it seem like I was part of all this from the beginning to end. So after I deleted the message, I decided to close my account on Twitter and Discord, and maybe start up a new account. I just wanted a fresh start, so I moved myself and my work to another account on both sites. Things went okay for about a week, until I started to get messages from a few accounts. I saw that these accounts were followers of Gigi, which was odd since I made sure that I didn't pin or like any of her games tags or even her fan art. So I would just block them and go on with my day without thinking anything of it. But it would get worse. Each message would be the same thing. "Why did you do it? Get offline. You're not needed here. People like you shouldn't even exist." They were all trying to get me to pick a side, to force me to pick something that I wasn't even a part of. I then closed the new account I made, making another and another. But they just kept finding me, and it was becoming so creepy. I was being followed and even stalked by Gigi's people. To put the icing on the cake, I found out that not only was her fans following me, but also Cinder themselves. The last account I made, using everything to make sure no one thought it was me, I even changed my subjects to something that wasn't even my specialty. I only had this account for half a week, just to get a notification that simply stated, "Hello, Jessica.
I do hope you're having a good week off. Are you getting quite tired of pretending to be so many different people? What would Gigi and her friends think about this?"
When I looked up to see who sent me this, I was surprised to see that it was none other than Cinder themselves. Quickly going to their page, I began to scroll down to their timeline, seeing what they had been posting. I kid you not, my stomach just dropped, seeing them do nothing but post one after another, not only following Gigi and her fans, but also me. I felt sick. They documented even things that I've commented on Gigi's game project before I even knew any of this. It was becoming way too creepy and scary, knowing this person was able to find me without giving a sweat. I deleted the current account I have and kept myself off Twitter. I do still have my Discord, but I only have 2 friends that know of it. I'm honestly too scared to even check to see if things are even put down to rest. I've been recently told by one of the 2 friends that Cinder and Gigi still talk about me, and even have asked other people that I was once in a close-knit group with if I've been online lately or if I've made any attempts of coming back. Hell no. You can all keep your creepy-ass stalking tactics to yourself. I'm gonna be staying off that toxic-ass platform. Please know this. Don't ever insert yourself in other people's problems or fights, because you just may become part of the issue at hand, and it's just not worth it.